It's not words on a page we're reading. It's not tablets chiseled with stone. The law has actually come in and indwells your heart if you believe in King Jesus, and it is a law of liberty because it actually allows you. It motivates you. It inspires you. And it thrills you to love other people instead of doing it because you're supposed to.
Hey, Awaken Church, and welcome to another installment of our sermon Spark Notes on James chapter 2. And this is a new series we kicked off last week, just going through the book of James in an expository fashion. And the series title is just Act in Faith. And so we're going to tackle a little bit what we covered last week. And what we covered last week, James had this threefold kind of address to people. One was he wanted to show that partiality and favoritism did not belong with and in the people of God. The second thing he moved to was the relationship between faith and works and what that looks like. And then the third thing that he talked about is really how he proved that. And he reached back into the Old Testament and he talked about two people. He talked about Abraham and he talked about Rahab, a patriarch and a prostitute. Two completely different sides of the spectrum. And so with that said, we'll jump into that relationship between faith and works. And it says in James 2:24, you see that a person is justified by works and not by faith alone. And many people have criticized James and said, whoa, James, you're telling people that they have to work to achieve salvation, that their works matter when they're saved. It's not just faith. And James would listen to that and he would be very puzzled. For a couple reasons, but that's not what he's saying. And what he is trying to say is that, no, you see, faith, James already believes you have faith. And so these works that James are talking about are filling up faith. They're vindicating that you have faith. It's this legal term, justification, that James is saying your works are proving that you have faith, like we're in a courtroom. But you see, Paul, that's not how he uses that same term. In fact, Paul, when he uses that term, what he's saying, in the courtroom, Christ has paid for your sin. You've been justified by Christ, and so when you believe in him, then your sins are forgiven, and you're justified, and you're saved. They're two different meanings of the same word in two different contexts, and I think that's important. A word can have two different meanings in two different contexts. And so, again, what James is trying to say is you see that a person is justified by works and not by faith alone. And this is what Jesus is saying in two places in the New Testament. And again, we have to remember that James is profoundly shaped by Jesus. But Jesus says this in Matthew 11:19 and Luke 7:35 when he's talking to religious people and Pharisees. He says, wisdom is justified by her children or by her works. And what Jesus is saying is the same thing, that you prove yourself to be wise and faithful by what you do. And if you don't do that, then are you really wise? Are you really faithful? And so church, let's take that to heart. Let's look at what we're doing in life. Let's look at our behavior and ask ourselves, are we really proving to be faithful to Jesus Christ? Or are we doing whatever we want to do and claiming that we have faith? I leave you with that question. Look forward to seeing you on Sunday. Talk to y'all later.